Sacco and Felice, New York and New Jersey's premier attorneys at law. Their team brings decades of experience across a wide range of practice areas. Whatever life brings, they're your legal team. From everyday matters to complex cases, they've got you covered with the experience you need and the results you want. Because when life gets complicated, they make it simple. SaccoFelice.com. SACCOFILLAS.com. 2 C's, 2 L's.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we have a big news day. Pam Bondi out as Attorney General. President Trump making the announcement on social media. The 7-month-old baby girl killed, hit with a stray bullet in Brooklyn. Heartbreaking. Caught on camera video the moment the mother is in a bodega for cover from gunfire and notices her child is shot. We are hitting the ground running. Steve Adubato, that's who we're starting out with this hour. Steve has a big interview airing this weekend on PBS with the governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. And Steve Adubato is, of course, a political analyst and author of the book Lessons in Leadership 2.0, The Tough Stuff. And he joins me now. Steve, how are you?
I am doing well, Dominic. This Holy Week, to everyone who is celebrating Easter and connecting to their spiritual and religious roots, we wish them all the best. And I wish while there are a whole bunch of things we could talk about that are political, and I'm looking at the New York Post right now, and I'm sickened by the story you just mentioned about the 7-month-old baby in Brooklyn. It's horrific. It's unimaginable. And prayers obviously go out to the family, which isn't nearly enough. I wish we could do more.
You know, Steve Adubato, I want to ask you about Pam Bondi, and you have this big interview. I was looking at clips of it. It's a really good interview with the new governor of New Jersey. I'll get to that in a second, but I'm just asking you off the top of your head, how do we stop this issue of urban violence, urban crime? I mean, 7 months old. How does this just keep happening?
You know, Dominic, first of all, you and I have been media friends and colleagues for a lot of years now, and it is, and also as parents, as grandparents, and I know how much your family means to you. When the idea that we sometimes make these things, these horrific events, political, and we start blaming people for it based on their ideology, that sickens me as well. And let me tell you why I'm saying that. Anyone who says that there's an easy answer to this, or it's the Democrats or liberal Democrats blaming gun violence or violence of someone who happens to be a Trump supporter on the MAGA movement, it's horrific. Meaning there are sick people out there. There are violent people out there. There are people out there that choose to do harm to other people, and they may not obviously have meant to murder this 7-month-old baby, but that's what happens in the crossfire. I will tell you one thing that it's not okay with me, and I know that most of your audience will agree with this. Demonizing our police. This whole insanity of defunding the police when that was a thing, and basically making police as the enemy. That's what I know is. I may not know what the answer is, Dominic Carter, but I know what the answer is not. And the answer is definitely not to demonize, defund, and minimize the role of law enforcement.
And you have been very consistent in that position as far as defund the police. It's got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
It's lunacy. It's just lunacy.
Before I get to your big interview, I want to ask you about the news of the hour, if you will. Pam Bondi out as Attorney General.
So Dominic, let me tell you this, and you know that in my work, not just as a broadcaster, but I write about leadership and communication, and I think about it, I coach it, I teach it. And I will say this to you. When I watch Pam Bondi testify regarding the Epstein files before Congress, regardless of whether it was a Democrat or Republican asking her a question, I will say this. I literally videotaped her public communication and presentation in those hearings and used it with my students, used it with my communication clients by saying, this is not how you respond. And here's what I mean. She did not do herself. She did not do the president. She did not do our country any favors by calling senators names, by mocking them, by demonizing them. She had to answer those tough questions about the Epstein files. And by the way, Dominic, you reported this. She was the one who said, I have the files on my desk. And then when questioned about it, she attacked the questioner. Maybe President Trump can get away with that because he understands how to handle those situations and he gets the benefit of the doubt because he's the president, he's Donald Trump. She's not Donald Trump. She didn't do him any favors. He did the right thing by removing her today.
Well, let's get to your interview with the governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. And, I watched with great interest Steve Adubato, and that's going to air this weekend, a must-see TV as far as I'm concerned. And, you were talking to her in general, a couple of clips I want you to respond to. But she used profanity, and one of the big issues in New Jersey has been the Gateway Tunnel project. We all know it got political. The White House holding up money for a while. You asked her about these issues. I want you to listen to what she actually had to say.
The art of the deal for the president is usually he figures out how to leverage you and then extract as much as he can, and you never get anything back. So that's why when the president held up the Gateway Tunnel funding, I was encouraged by some people. Oh, just try to work with him. Why don't you just name Penn Station after him or Dulles Airport? Why don't you just do what he wants? I think that's bullshit. That is not the president's leverage to have. He is acting illegally. Congress has appropriated this funding. The president should not have any say in that.
So that's the new governor, Steve Adubato. And in your interview, is this just the way it's going to be with Democrats and Republicans continuing to go after each other, going after President Trump?
Dominic, you and I, again, we've been on each other's programs, and I greatly admire, as you well know, talk about must-see TV. You are must-see, must-listen-to radio. And I'm not just saying that because you're a friend, but because you have always approached things, and I hope that I do as well, regardless of someone's political ideology or how they identify themselves, as being able to have meaningful conversations that are not nasty and not personal. Here's the dilemma I have. I understand Governor Sherrill making it very clear that she will fight President Trump where she believes she needs to fight him, take him to court. And she was on MS Now this morning saying she won in a court case recently against the president. And I get all that. And I respect the governor and I understand her role. Here's the problem I have. I'm also, I was a good friend of a former governor, Chris Christie, who, when he was governor, he found a way to interact and engage Barack Obama after Hurricane Sandy because it's what the state needed. Here's my point.
That's right.
I understand. And Chris Christie and I talk about this all the time. They didn't politically agree on anything. But what they did was they came together for people who were suffering in New Jersey and New York and in the region after Sandy. Here's my concern. My concern is that while Governor Sherrill, and again, she has every right to communicate the way she is about the president and to stand up against him as a governor of New Jersey, as a Democrat. I get all that. My concern is this. When and if New Jersey needs President Trump and his administration, you got to play nice in the sandbox. You got to find a way to be critical and challenging when appropriate, but also recognize the president and give him credit. It's not about naming this or that after him. It's about, frankly, having more cordial relationships. And if she's convinced that she can't do that with the president, that's going to be really challenging because he's the leader of the free world. He can help New Jersey. And the truth is, I could be wrong because I'm not the governor, Dominic. She is. She's got to find a way, representing 9 million plus people in New Jersey, to work with our president. Even if she thinks he's a terrible president, she has to do that.
And we are chatting live with Steve Adubato. Steve has a big interview coming up. It's airing this weekend on PBS with the governor of New Jersey, the Democrat governor, Mikey Sherrill. And Steve Adubato, as we all know, longtime political analyst and author of the book Lessons in Leadership 2.0, The Tough Stuff. I want to play another clip from your interview, Steve Adubato. Here you talk to her about what is the road ahead for New Jersey.
This program is called New Jersey, the Road Ahead. What do you see? I know it's a big picture, broad question. The road ahead, particularly given the austere budget you just presented to the legislature and to the state of New Jersey. Please, Governor.
Sure. So I put forth an affordability budget, the most fiscally responsible budget the state has seen in years. It halves the structural deficit. It also doesn't raise taxes on individuals, and it has the most property tax relief that any budget's ever had. And this budget sets the table so that we can make good decisions going forward on strong investments into our future, for opportunity, for our kids, for our healthcare. This is where it all starts. And so that's the road ahead for this administration.
Steve Adubato, you tell me what the road ahead is. You're an expert covering politics, especially in New Jersey. What's the road ahead?
I think it's murky. I think it's challenging. I think, I'll repeat what I said before. Our governor has to find a way to work with this White House. She has to find a way to work with the president because there are too many programs. There are too many initiatives that affect our region. So, and I'm not saying the answer is government across the board because it clearly is not. Government is often, frankly, the problem. That being said, I believe the road ahead in New Jersey, if in fact we do not get affordability, listen, we have 3 kids. I'm sitting there going, how are our kids? 2 of them graduate, one graduated college last year and the other one's graduating this year. Okay, how could they afford to live in the state of New Jersey if they don't live with their parents? And that's not the way it's, Dominic, you know that as a family guy, me as well, I feel the same way. I want our kids to be able to live in the state we grew up in if they choose to. But if they leave only because they can't afford it, that's sad. And can the governor change that? Whether it's Mikey Sherrill or Chris Christie or anyone else? No. But they can create a more business-friendly environment. They can keep taxes are ridiculous in the state of New Jersey. Property tax is ridiculous. Income tax is ridiculous. But if that is happening and we're not getting the services for those tax dollars, that makes it doubly bad. So it's my long-winded way of saying this. If we do not get affordability under control, and that includes electricity and energy costs, which the governor had 2 executive orders saying she would freeze them immediately. Let me just say this. If the utility companies don't go along with that, there's going to be an issue because I don't know if any governor can stop a utility company from raising their rates, even though it has to be approved by the Board of Public Utilities. The bottom line is this. You put it all together, housing costs, utility costs, the cost of gas, put it all together. You can't afford to live in the state that I was born and raised in. And that is incredibly sad, not just politically, Dominic, but personally to me.
And it is indeed sad. New Jersey, Connecticut, New York City, of course, the same scenario. Steve Adubato, I don't know if your schedule permits for you to hang around for a few minutes. Can you do so?
Dominic, you think there's no way in the world I would say no to you.
Thank you. I feel the same way as it relates to you, Steve Adubato. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. We'll continue our live conversation when we come back.
Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
In just a few minutes, the program belongs to you folks as we talk about Pam Bondi out as Attorney General, as well as the 7-month-old baby girl killed in Brooklyn, hit with a stray bullet. Police have one suspect in custody. They are looking for the second. The heartbreaking video. The mother's in a bodega where she ran to avoid being shot. She looks to make sure her baby is okay and realizes her baby girl has been shot in the head. Oh, and right now we're talking with Steve Adubato, and Steve is a major political analyst and author of the book Lessons in Leadership 2.0, The Tough Stuff. He has a big interview coming up this weekend on PBS with the brand new governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. And one of the other issues you spoke to the governor about, Steve, before we bring you back in and wrap up this conversation, you talked to her as it relates to energy policy.
Your first two executive orders, remind people exactly what they were and why they matter, Governor.
I'm bound and determined to run this credible government so people rely on it. I want to make sure that people know that we're spending their dollars wisely so they can have faith in government and will continue to trust us to do more for the state and create more opportunity. And one of those key areas as I ran was utility costs. The reason I said I was going to declare this state of emergency was because I wanted people to be able to test me and then to be able to see immediately, right away. I was doing what I said I would do.
So, Steve Adubato, I want you to help me out here. I'm trying to understand the strategy of Democrat elected officials these days. It seems like their strategy is just to go to war with Trump. And I don't know if that's the direction that Governor Mikey Sherrill was headed in, but I'm starting to see signs of that. How do Democrats win with that strategy?
Well, see, Dominic, there's two things. If winning means winning the midterm elections and gaining control of the House of Representatives and or the United States Senate, well, then I would argue the Democrats have a good chance to, quote, win politically. However, Dominic, as a student of leadership, as someone who's a former state legislator in a different life before I got into the media, I would say this. Winning to me is getting things done. Winning to me is improving the lives of 9 million people here in New Jersey and improving the lives of over 300 million in the country. That's very different. And in order to win by helping people and getting things done in government, last time I checked, it requires cooperation, negotiation, collegiality, respect, not calling each other names, not demonizing each other, not calling the other person Hitler-like or that the Democrats are all communists, name calling. Last time I checked, Dominic, that's not how people come together and get things done. Do I understand it politically? Yeah, but it makes me sick, and it's one of the reasons why I chose never to run for office again, because in all candor, if that's the way the game is going to be played, by demonizing your opponent, I don't want any part of it, and I think millions of other decent Americans don't either.
And you know what, Steve Adubato? That's why you're so beloved and respected, and every chance I get a chance to speak to you, it's a great day for me. Thank you, Steve Adubato. Folks, we're coming right back.
Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities, so do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. 800-848-9222. I'm looking at my Twitter at my ex, Debbie Lebedo, Staten Island. Debbie says, at Dominic TV, baby killer, referring to the situation in Brooklyn, should get death penalty. Then she capitalizes, no 3 hots in a cot for him on our dime. Again, capitalized. That goes for everyone proven guilty for murder. Very interesting what Debbie has to say there. That's one of the stories that we're dealing with right now. The program belongs to you folks. Also, Pam Bondi out as Attorney General. And we just spoke with political analyst Steve Adubato, who has a big interview airing this weekend on PBS with the new Democrat governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. That's going to be interesting. We played some clips here. Steve spending some time with us. 800-848-9222. Time for you folks to sound off. Let's begin with line 2. Kevin in East Meadow. Kevin, what's on your mind?
Hey, Kevin, who is Debbie Lebedo, and why do you always talk about her? I mean, it's a little annoying. But
because I talk about it because it's my show. It's called the Dominic Carter Show. That's why. And it's because that's what I want to do. Now, why is there a problem with that?
Being shot, nobody cares.
And how would you feel if it was your mother? How would you feel if it was your mother that took a bullet to the head?
What does that have to do with what's going on?
No, you just said who cares. So how would you feel if it was your mother or your sister or your wife that took a bullet to the head? How would you feel then, Mr. Bravado? How would you feel then?
What Lobato? What is Lobato?
No, I said Mr. Bravado. Mr. Bravado. You know what? You know what, Kevin? I got a message for you. Not only do I want you to meet Mr. Click, I want you to listen carefully to this.
Dominic is done with you.
Stop wasting my time, loser. Let's go to Greg in Michigan on line 1. The number to reach us, folks, again, 800-848-9222. Before you begin, Greg, I cannot believe that this nut job just said, who cares? That a 7-month-old baby was shot in the head in her stroller while the mother is ducking bullets. And then it's on camera where the mother goes to check on the wealth and health, well-being of her child. And that's when the mother realizes, she sees the blood on the baby's hat, that the baby's been shot in the head. The father runs to the hospital carrying the baby, and this nut job just said, who cares? But when I said, what happens if it's your mama, if it's your sister, if it's your baby, He's nuts. Anyway, Greg, go right ahead.
Hey, Dominic, Mr. Pot.
What? I don't know what just happened to his call. I'm batting 1,000 here. Maybe you can call back there, Greg. But you know what, folks? I do want, while we're setting up for the next call, I do want you to hear the way CBS, it was national news last night. What happened? This is from the CBS National News.
This surveillance image captures the moment a gunman riding on the back of a scooter in Brooklyn, New York, fired 2 shots, killing a 7-month-old baby who was being pushed in a stroller around 1:15 this afternoon. Now, after hearing the gunshots, police say the child's mother ducked into a nearby bodega where she noticed the little girl bleeding. The little girl's father rushed the child to an area hospital where she was pronounced dead. Officials say the suspect on the back of the scooter is believed to be in police custody. The driver is still on the run.
At this time, this shooting is believed to be gang motivated, with the victim being an unintended target, and no gun has yet been recovered.
And so in a minute, we'll get to what Mayor Mamdani had to say, but let's continue with some of your calls. Line 4, Dino in Queens. Dino, what's on your mind?
Love you. Hey, Dom. Hey, Dominic, the previous caller, the guy you were telling about, it could be your mom. You know, hear that saying, stuck on stupid? Some people are just stuck on stupid. Anyway, I'm saying it. But what I want to tell you is with the confirmed people that Trump had picked, like Pam Bondi and what's going on, yes, I lost faith in the government, and I sure hope, because you know what's going on with Pam Bondi right now. She's out. But I sure hope Kash Patel doesn't have any kind of influence in that, or any affiliation to that, because the government, we ain't going nowhere. I don't see no arrests. I don't see people getting prosecuted. It's sad. It's really sad. It's sad.
Okay, but now, Dino, and thank you for your kind words, but the FBI has been cracking down, making arrests in a number of areas, unprecedented arrests, but you're just not seeing it?
Well, when I heard that she kind of like not sided, but gave a pass to Swalwell, because that totally just messed everything up. I just don't know what to think no more, Dominic, because, so you know who I'm talking about, the guy that was sleeping with the Chinese spy?
Well, there are lots of allegations, but yes, I understand.
Like, from what I'm hearing, there was a guy that, you know, there's a certain ring to the truth when he spoke on Greg Kelly's show, and he said about, his name was Joel, I think. I don't remember his last name, but how he broke it down, I was like, what's going on, man? We'll never see the truth. I know Trump's trying his hardest. I don't blame Trump. Everybody's got a job to do, but it seems to me the ones that are confirmed is like a revolving door, Dominic, you know?
I don't know, Dino. I disagree with the Trump administration. I think that the president says what he means and means what he says and carries it out. Thank you for the call, Dino. I do have to move on. Thank you very much. Let's go here to Solomon in the Bronx, line 2. Solomon, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, Dominic? How's everything? So the quality of life situation, this should be addressed immediately by our mayor. Our mayor should address this immediately and set a program to enhance quality of life. He's supposed to be a premier mayor. This should be addressed to him immediately.
Wait, you said he's supposed to be a what mayor? I didn't catch that part.
But he considers himself a premier. If you hear him talking like he's a celebrity mayor, right? He should be concerned about this, because we are a law-abiding citizen in New York City. We're concerned about our safety. You know what I'm saying? So this should be immediate. He should respond immediately. So if Donald Trump
he did respond. He was out there on location. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Thank you for the call. Let's go to line 3. Al in New Jersey. Al, what's on your mind?
Hello, Dominic. Look, when I first saw our governor in New Jersey sitting in a mosque, I just said to myself, what is wrong with this woman that she's going to sit there and cater to these people? When you look at what happened on 9/11 and in Paterson, New Jersey, they were celebrating. And I do not believe that was the right thing to do. I think that she needs to get herself out of this situation where she thinks it's okay to sit with people that hate this country. And you know, nobody could tell me they don't hate this country. They want to bring Sharia law here. It conflicts with our democracy. It conflicts with our laws in this country. Anybody that supports that, I cannot even dwell on wanting them as governor. I don't even call her governor. I call her the helicopter pilot. And I voice my opinion about her on Instagram, Facebook, wherever I can, because I disagree with things. First of all, if she wants to lower the energy costs, bring back nuclear power. Stop this nonsense with solar panels and wind panels.
Right, but that goes against the Democrat agenda. You're not going to get a Democrat to sign off on that and approve of that. That's not going to happen, Al.
You know what? I don't even believe she wants. I'm going to tell you something. I live in Caldwell, New Jersey. I saw a woman go up to one of those boxes where you drop the mail-in ballots in. This is right next to the post office. There's a food bank there. In front of the food bank is one of those post office boxes where she dropped a dozen of these ballots in there. One vote, one person. How does she get her hands on
I find that hard to believe, Al. I'm just being honest with you. I find that very hard to believe that somebody in broad daylight would go drop, but I got to move on, would go drop 12 ballots knowing that it's a federal crime and you can go to jail for that. I'm going to go to Carlotta in Rhode Island in just a moment. But first, let's go to Tom in New Jersey, line 4. Tom, welcome to the Dominic Carter Show. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Dominic. I wonder if have you ever been in the White House?
Yes. What's the question? I've been in the White House several times.
Yes. Well, my question is many Americans, as well as foreigners, have never been in the White House. I wondered if Trump might rethink the design of his museum and library in Miami and kind of redirect and rebuild a copy of the White House down there, giving the people an opportunity to see what the White House really looks like. And along with that, he could put any memorabilia of his own in that position.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the visits are back open to the public, but any person, at least in the past, before these terrorism days, could go on you couldn't visit the West Wing, but you could visit the White House. There used to be tours. I don't know if they've been resumed, but you could have gone, and who knows? The truth of the matter is, President Trump is a man of the people, as far as I'm concerned, and who knows what he'll do. But let's not rush him along, Tom, in terms of his tenure. He's still got a little under 3 years left in office. And I think he has a lot that he wants to achieve. He has a lot that he wants to do. So let's just go ahead and see what he can actually do. Thank you for the call, Tom. Mayor Mamdani, the fatal shooting of the 7-month-old baby girl. And I'm still stuck on that loser in the front half of the show that said, well, just a few minutes ago, who cares? I'm really stuck on that. And he's such a hater. He doesn't like that I quote Debbie Lobato's tweets. I quote a lot of people's tweets. Debbie Lobato is a lovely woman, a great person. So is her husband. And I do believe that this is called the Dominic Carter Show. So I have the discretion to do, within reason, what I may feel is appropriate. And our ratings for the team that works on this show reflects it all the way. What's that rap song? All the way up? All the way up? That's us. All the way up. Right? Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. I think that's the song. I want you to listen to Mayor Mamdani, the mayor of New York City, talking about the fatal shooting of this 7-month-old baby girl.
A life that had barely begun was taken in an instant. As we grieve this loss, I am grateful for the NYPD's continued work to find all those responsible for this murder and to bring them to justice. I want to commend the swift response of the NYPD and the first responders who so quickly arrived at the scene, the hospital workers who did all that they could. And I want to thank all those who are doing everything they can to bring answers to this family and to this city. There are no words that can mend the heartbreak this family is feeling now. No declaration strong enough to lift the grief they are now forced to carry. No embrace wide enough to heal the hole that has been left in their lives. That sorrow is only deepened by the fact that this is not the first family in our city to know this pain. Too many children have never grown up into becoming adults. Too many parents have had to bury those that they love the most. We cannot accept this as normal in our city. We cannot grow numb to this pain. And today is a devastating reminder of just how much more work there is to be done to combat gun violence across this city.
Fair enough, Mr. Mayor. But how are you going to handle the problem when you want to cut back on police? You want to get rid of the strategic unit that responds to protests. You don't like police. So how are you going to handle the issue? It's called talking out of both sides of your mouth. Let's go to line 3, Mike in Brooklyn. Mike, what's on your mind?
Yes, good afternoon, Dominic. Thanks for taking my call. This in regards to the little baby that was shot and killed. God rest her soul and bless that family. I believe in a death penalty. The guy that shot him should be put to death. The operator of the scooter should be put to death. And the entire gang, because it was supposedly gang-related. They should all be held charged because they had to get the gun from somewhere. They acted as one. They should go down as one. You know?
I'm with you, Mike. I don't see anything wrong with that. As a matter of fact, that's too nice. I really believe they should be tortured before, and I got to take a break, but thank you for the call. I really believe they should be tortured before being put to death. Oh, I didn't mean to shoot the baby. It's not my fault. No. Tell it to your maker. Time for a break. We're coming right back.
TaxAct filing software and live tax experts can help small businesses easily knock out their taxes. Actually, our experts can help you find deductions and credits for any sized business. Itty-bitty businesses, medium-sized, really big, mid-sized, small businesses, companies with 0 employees, and mom-and-pop conglomerates. Yep, our tax experts can help all of them. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day. I'm still stuck, folks. I know we have a lot of national news going on, world news, in fact, but all politics at the end of the day are local. And you've got a 7-month-old baby that just learned how to say mama. And what bothered me last night is that 7-month-old baby, and folks, I think about things like this, was in the morgue. And not just the morgue. These are sometimes the things I think about. In a dark refrigerator. After having life, after being someone's child for just 7 months, she was in a dark refrigerator. Soon to be laid to rest. Something has to give. And you notice, folks, the Peters of Harlem and those clowns in Brooklyn. Oh, Dominic, why are you focusing on urban crime? Why do you talk about black on black crime? Ah! Well, here's why I do it. Exactly what happened in Brooklyn. Do you think that mother will ever be the same again? I don't think so. Let's go to Dave, line 3, Orange County, New York. What's on your mind, Dave?
You know, this is why we need a mayor that's hard on crime. This is, and we need a mayor that has a little outrage. If he's not going to be outraged by this, everybody else can be like, hey, no, la-di-da-da-da. This is partly his fault because he's so lax on crime, and I want him to get up there and be outraged like the rest of us. But no, he's always sorry, he's always down, he's always la-di-da about stuff like this. This is his problem.
You know what? I agree with you. And we're not the only ones that get the mayor's message that he doesn't like cops. You folks don't think the criminals hear it? Of course they hear it. They're like, hey, one of us is in office, as they beat their chests. He's got our back. Thank you for the call, Dave. Let's go to Carlotta, Rhode Island. Carlotta, what's on your mind? Line 2.
Well, people forget that President Trump has 11 grandchildren. And before they criticize the way he's managing this war, he loves our country and he loves his grandchildren the way we all love our grandchildren. And he wants to leave behind a country where his grandchildren are safe. And the other thing I want to say is that statement I just heard from Mondami, all I could see in my mind's eye was a dummy sitting on a ventriloquist D and words coming out of its wood mouth.
Well, you know what I find interesting, Carlotta, because, I pay attention to how these things work behind the scenes, right? So when you have something like this, 7-month-old baby killed, City Hall the 1PP immediately contacts City Hall and says the mayor needs to drop whatever he's doing and get at this news conference. Because at the end of the day, they know it's a national opportunity and it's a chance for the mayor to be on national TV. But what does it matter, Carlotta, when you're saying nothing? Okay, maybe you're saying the right things, but your actions send the opposite message. Your wife is a straight up racist, and he hasn't even denounced that. He won't even. I don't know, Carlotta. He's just the wrong man he's the wrong man for the job. But he's elected. The masses elected him, And, he's busy with social media, and he's got these guys in the hood dancing around him and videos and so on. The whole thing is wrong. It's just wrong. Carlotta, you have the last word.
I think he's just turning himself into a cartoon.
Do you think he knows it?
I don't think he wants to know it, but time will tell.
Well, thank you for the call. If he's a cartoon, it makes one wonder, what is his wife? He's getting away with the fact that his wife is a straight up racist that has used the N-word, hates Israel, and we're paying for her police detail and for her to live in a mansion. You can't make this up. Folks, on America's darkest day, 9/11, America vowed to never forget. Help our nation keep that promise. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. T2T.org. I'm back at midnight.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder, what the heck is going on here? Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.